I'm Paula Gilbert, the editor of Connecting Africa, and we're here at NOVACOM Summit in Franschhoek, South Africa. And with me, I have Juliet Ehimuan, who is the ex-director of Google West Africa and now the founder and CEO of Beyond Limits. Hi, Juliet. So nice to see you.
Very nice to see you.
So you were speaking in the keynote session today, and you were talking about, fostering the next wave of innovation in Africa. So I'm just interested, where do you think we are at the moment when it comes to innovation, disruption, and what do you think that next wave is?
Yes, so it's great to see a lot of the innovation that is happening on the continent, particularly from a technology perspective, where we've seen growth in technology entrepreneurs using technology to solve local problems. The startup space has really boomed in the last few years. We've gone from 0 unicorns to about 8 unicorns on the continent. And these are innovations in finance. So we have a huge percentage of fintech organizations, in e-commerce, in health tech, B2B logistics, and just edutech as well, just a range of sectors using technology to solve problems. And it's so great that these innovations have also attracted foreign investment into the region. We're seeing a lot more investment coming in, and even from high-profile international investors like Y Combinator. And this trend is likely to continue, and it's great to see this. But also, moving away from that a little bit, emerging technologies like artificial intelligence and machine learning are becoming more mainstream in how we work in different ways. In sectors like agriculture, as an example, where there's sectors that would not naturally lend themselves to high tech, right? We're seeing machine learning applications being used to automatically detect crop diseases. And I think that's just fantastic, and that really also runs through, in the health space, diagnostics, telemedicine. When you think about the fact that in a lot of our communities, there's a shortage in the ratio of doctors to patients, right? Technology being used for remote diagnostics can really make a huge difference. When you talk about, edutech solutions as well, up-to-date curricula, job-ready skills, these are all being made possible by the innovations that we're seeing on the continent, and that's going to grow.
Yeah, I'm interested what you kind of see as the challenges to all of that, and how Africa can maybe do it differently to other places and evolve in a different way.
Yeah, so the challenges, I would say, the three major things. One is infrastructure, which is what this, a huge part of what this summit is about, because people need to be connected, right, to be able to access these platforms to develop these solutions. And but infrastructure goes beyond connectivity, even power, just the entire infrastructure needed to set up, run, and scale your business. So that's one. The other is skills, right? We have many young people on the continent. It's a young population and a very talented and vibrant population, and you have a lot of great ideas, right? But you may be a great developer, you're able to build something great. That doesn't mean you'll be great at running a business, right? Packaging that idea into a product that can be monetized and that can scale. And so a lot of our entrepreneurs, our innovators, require a lot more support and training to be able to grow their businesses in that way. This is where incubators and accelerators really play an important role. And if you just look at the statistics, in the UK, we have about 750 incubators and accelerators. In the US, we have quadrupled that number, just over 2,000. And in Africa, across an entire region, we have 47 incubators. And then combining the incubators and accelerators together and tech hubs, we have about 643. Yeah. So that's a really small number for 1.5 billion people. So our startups, our innovators need a lot more support and hand-holding. And then the third is funding, access to funding. For every unicorn out there, there are probably at least 1,000 other businesses in the same space doing well, but that don't have the visibility or the exposure that they need to be able to attract funding. And this is a huge challenge that is really stifling growth in the space.
Yeah, very interesting. A lot of room for growth,
Yes.
hopefully, in terms of those accelerators and incubators and all of that. Yeah, so I'm interested, you spent obviously more than 10 years at Google.
12 years.
Yeah, 12 years. So what did you observe in terms of the approach to the continent? Obviously, connectivity, all of those things, but everything that came with kind of the Google vision, and maybe how that changed over that
Yes,
time.
yes, sure. So when I started at Google, Africans were coming online, right? But the percentage of Africans online was really low. And, it was important for us to take a strategic long-term view to actually helping to build the ecosystem along with other players. And so we had a three-pronged strategy. The first was just really around access. How can we make internet access more available and more affordable to the average user? And this was really, working in partnership with telecom operators, service providers, in some cases also investing in infrastructure. So, we had projects like Google Station, which was, free Wi-Fi at public places. We laid recently a submarine cable called Equiano running across the coast of West Africa to South Africa, connecting Africa to Europe, and a few other access projects. The second pillar is around content, local content creation and development, because even if you have connectivity, for people to actually use that access, they need locally relevant solutions, right? And so things like localizing Google Maps, ensuring that there's business information online, ensuring that there's even creative information on platforms like YouTube, right? We're seeing a lot more African creative content come online, and there's a new wave of digital entrepreneurs that are successfully creating content for digital and monetizing that content, not only within Africa, but attracting income from different parts of the world, eyeballs on the content. So that is an important piece. The third pillar is skills development, because people need to be empowered to actually use the platforms. We need developers to build mobile-based apps, cloud solutions, to leverage technologies like machine learning to develop, apps that provide solutions, the fintech apps we talk about, health tech, and so on. So we need, skills development in depth for developers, but even the average user, right? Being able to understand how to make the web work for me, how to be more productive, more effective, how to access information and all that, to just really help me grow, help me enhance my skill set, and potentially help me build my business. So those are three pillars, right, that we focused on. And, in the skills development space, we've been training, while I was there. It's just been 2 months.
I know,
right?
yeah.
I left June 2023. So it's all still fresh, right? But we invested in training Africans with digital skills at scale. And to date, we've done over 6 million.
Amazing, yeah. So obviously it's very fresh, but I kind of want to know why you decided to leave and what this next project is that you're busy working on. What's kind of the aim, the vision there?
Sure. So I've been at Google for 12 years. I started, when I started, we were just 2 people in a small room. Wow. In a managed building. And it's great to have been part of the growth, right, and expansion across the region, and the impact that we've made, right, in different sectors with startups, with businesses, with individuals, and with large brands. So that's fantastic. And I'm in a place where I'd like to take on a bigger role within the continent, around driving digital transformation, around supporting entrepreneurs, and around helping to stimulate and build the digital ecosystem. So those are the pillars, actually, that I'm focusing on going forward through the Beyond Limits organization. It's those 3 things: enabling digital transformation, helping organizations to maximize return on their digital assets, to also be able to leverage emerging technologies for business growth and productivity. The second pillar is supporting entrepreneurs. I just talked about the fact that our tech entrepreneurs need more support. So providing training, mentorship, coaching, and funding to help build the next generation of leaders, the next wave of unicorns, really. And then the third piece is, stimulating collaboration and partnerships within the digital ecosystem, and creating win-win relationships.
Well, it sounds like a business that's definitely needed and is going to make a lot of impact. So wish you all the best for that. I want to talk a little bit before we wrap up about the fintech revolution.
Yes.
Obviously, coming from Nigeria, it's a huge market there. We've got the flutter waves of the world.
Yes.
What do you see as maybe how much that ecosystem has changed over the last 10 years that you've observed, and maybe where we're going now with fintech? Are we moving beyond payments? Into other interesting innovations?
Absolutely. So it's really great to see the growth in the fintech space. More than 40% of the investment to tech startups in Africa has gone to the fintech space. And we've seen the innovation in payments. So players like Flutterwave, Paystack, savings and investments, players like PiggyVest and Bamboo. Digital banks like Kuda Bank, blockchain, and microfinance as well. And this is a space that is addressing a real need around financial inclusion and is likely to continue to grow because if I just zoom into one country as an example, say Nigeria, there are currently about 250 fintech companies, right? And if you compare that to other regions, in India, for example, you have a ratio of one fintech to about 210,000 people. In the UK, it's one fintech to about 27,000 people. In the US, it's one fintech to about 40,000 people. In Nigeria, that number I shared represents one fintech to over 700,000 people. So even though, depending on your vantage point, it may seem like a large number, there's a huge room for growth, and so we're likely to see more investments in that space.
Okay, very interesting. My last question is maybe just your hopes for the industry, the ecosystem in Africa, and how we change things considerably in the next 5 years to make things better.
Yes, so I think technology has a very, very pivotal role to play in Africa's future. And we're increasingly seeing the digital economy as a strong contributor to overall economic growth and a strong contributor to job creation and GDP. And I believe that Africa's biggest challenges will not be solved by traditional methods of the past, that we need these emerging technologies to solve them more cost effectively and at a faster rate. So for example, solving financial inclusion for the unbanked, climate control, droughts, automatically detecting diseases, right, and solutions to them. I talked about machine learning being used in agricultural farms to automatically detect diseases. Those kinds of solutions. And I think it's exciting when you look at the developments that are happening on the continent. Also bearing in mind that, technology platforms provide access to opportunity, right? They provide a level playing field because a young African in any part of the continent getting online has access to the same information that someone else in, say, Silicon Valley or anywhere else in the world has access to. And that's very empowering. That's, in many ways, that's democratizing access to information and empowerment that comes with that. And we've seen some really great stories of people using that access and opportunity to create businesses for themselves, to just really even create jobs and drive growth for themselves and their organizations as well. So I'm excited about Africa's digital future, and I invite all stakeholders to lean in. We need to take an ecosystem approach to growth within the space, right? The access players, the content players, the skills development players, everyone, government, enabling regulation, so that we jointly can accelerate bringing the next billion Africans online.
Okay, well, thank you very, very much to Juliet Ehimuan, who's the founder and CEO of Beyond Limits. It's so great to chat to you here at the NOVACOM Summit.
Thank you.